All right, we'll continue where we left off. I just saw his last video to me, which he called it, and it's, you know, he's complaining that this technique of playing his videos is unfair. I mean, I'll do a whole video on that subject because it's got to be the most preposterous argument ever. I mean, you've said a lot of stupid things, but this has got to be the stupidest. I mean, this is extending you every fairness. It's allowing you. Oh, well, I won't even get it. I'll wait till I play that video. All right, because it really, this just proves. I mean, it just makes it so crystal clear how lame you are.
Some people that they loved, and they left their homes and their belongings to come here. Because why? Because this offered them the best shot. It offered them the best shot at having a life, a decent life for themselves and their children and their family.
It just demonstrates just how bad things are for the poor, because that best shot often meant dying in a coal mine or getting run over by, you know, they used to shoot the Chinese on the train tracks, right? You know, sweatshops for your children. Yeah, your children's going to really be grateful that you brought them to America so they can work in a sweatshop. And, you know, like I said, we know the liabilities of those working conditions and the fact that people's longevity was just horrible. But yeah, that just proves how horrible it is. People have it lousy in another country and they go someplace else where there's this promise of these streets paved in gold, and all they end up is to be ground up again, you know, by another bunch of people who just are going to use them up and spit them out.
That's why I don't think this is a ridiculous question to ask somebody. Hey, if you really feel that way about this country, why would you never consider, and you think that there's one better option in this world, why would you never consider that option?
Oh, when did, like I said, when did I say there was some better option? When did I say that there was a place where capitalism hadn't corrupted or capitalism hadn't destroyed civilization? I mean, capitalism is all over the planet Earth, okay? And it's wreaking its havoc, okay? But the masses, like I said, are more informed than they've ever been. They're not ignorant peasants anymore. They have computers now. They have access to information, and they're starting to realize the system they've been trapped in, and they're starting to resent it.
Why is that such an evil question? Why does that have to be some subliminal, passive-aggressive message for all the commies to get out of the country? That's not what it is.
Because you used the word communist about 17 times in the video. That's why. Didn't you? Didn't you? And then you said, you made a lot of derogatory statements about what you were saying people who disagree with you are. Well, whatever. We're not going to replay the old video, but it was really a piece of crap, and you know it.
I'm posing a legitimate question to people. And you know what, the kind of, on top of all the hate, profanity-laden reply I got, which was absolute puke, the best answers I got from people were that they wouldn't know the language.
Well, is puke okay, a word I can use that? I can just call you a puke head, puke brain, you know, puke soul. Yeah, I just use that word. Is that okay with you then? That's a four-letter word I can use? Yeah, what was your point? You know, this stupid lame argument again. Well, let's not go through the whole list of all the reasons why human beings don't like to move. I mean, it really is kind of a stupid argument to have. And, you know, in the South, like I said, I made the example. I'll just make it again, but you ignore it. What, should have all the women suffragers, should they just have left the country because it was a man's world? And you know, gone to the Amazon and created their own little civilization? I mean, should have all those people who oppose slavery, should they have just left the United States and said, okay, I'll just leave the country to the fucktards? No, I'm here because I like this place and I want it to be better, and it's going to be better when you people are a tiny minority.
It's a weak reply. It's a weak answer. Considering the fact that people come to this country every day that don't know our language. And the people that I just mentioned.
And why do they come here, though, right? The people coming here are not coming here for anything else but to either to become part of the exploitionist capitalist economy because they got a free education somewhere else in some socialist country, and they want to make more money with it. I mean, we knew the game that used to be played. I mean, let's go back to the Reagan politics of the wall between the Germanys. I mean, that was kind of a silly circumstance, right? You get a free fucking education in one country, and you can make a ton of money with it in the other country. That is kind of a broken scenario, isn't it? All right, so these people emigrating here are either coming here so they can become an exploitionist, or they're coming here because where they live sucks.
Family. My ancestors came here not knowing a word of English. People do it every day. So that's a weak excuse. Really is.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you. I think it's a profoundly meaningful excuse. I would not want to have to assimilate into a culture where I didn't know the language. I resent having to learn. I have no interest in learning another language. No interest whatsoever. And I have absolutely no expectation of going to somebody else's country and speaking English and for them to appreciate it. No such expectation.
And why do they offer weak excuses like that? Because what they're trying to avoid the real answer to the question. Because it is a rhetorical question that I ask.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Mostly. That's right. There's no sincere inquiry. It was just ridicule is all it was. And I can just ridicule you the same way. When you're the minority, we'll just laugh at you. We'll laugh at your discomfort, and we'll just say, why don't you just leave, asshole? We don't understand why you just don't leave. Why don't you just get the fuck out? And you can go to, where would it be that you'd go? Yeah, that's right, Dubai. That's where you'd go. Have fun. You like wearing a towel on your head. You'll enjoy it.
It's mostly a rhetorical question because I know I'm trying to get them to admit something. I'm trying to get them to admit the fact that they know that this country, with all its broken pieces and its quirky mechanisms, is still the best model that exists in this world right now.
Bullshit. This country is only what it is because of tremendous good fortune. Europeans came over here and found a native population they could easily kill. They had this huge country, valuable resources, okay? And it became very easy for them to make lots of fucking money here, okay? Because this was a resource-rich country, all right? And lots of labor was imported, and slaves were imported, and it became even more bountiful because the slaves did all this free work, and you know it. All right, they cut all the trees down, made huge, vast farmland, created all kinds of productivity, okay? Cotton. Remember, cotton used to run this country. It was the fuel of this country. We dressed the world, damn it. All right, and we can go through every bit of the equation. We were the first ones in the industrialization door. We were the first ones in the progressive constitutional republic door. I mean, we did a lot of the right things, and we fell into a huge good fortune. And to sit there and look at it any other way, and to look at and to ignore the exploitation, the blood that our nation was built on, that industry, the human grease that was used, you know, to lubricate those gears, is just so idiotic. You should be ashamed of yourself.
It still is the best option. It still is their best shot at prosperity and a life for their family. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, well, you can keep getting to it. No, it's their best shot if they're interested in exploiting labor in some other country. I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
If they argue that point, if they really want to tell me that's not the case, I want them to present an argument, a good reason why it's not.
Well, what's our industrial production? I mean, there's lots of reasons. What, people should come here, what, to wipe your ass? Because you have a bunch of capital in a drawer somewhere? I mean, come on. People are going to do what here? What kind of productive, rewarding work are they going to find in the United States of America now? They're going to find a job being a liar on a telephone, or a liar on the internet, or a shyster, or a crook, or trying to find some way to steal somebody's money. Calling up saying they're my credit card company or some other bullshit. I mean, come on. We've become the shyster capital of the world, and that's why we are done. That's why your capitalism is finished, because you've all become greedy and useless.
Point another country out in this world and tell me why that country offers so much more and so much better of a way of life for people.
Well, like I said, we can go through a bunch of Scandinavian countries that are pretty damn good. They have lived long. They have subsidized infrastructure. They live a nice life, but they all have an individual history. They don't have our liabilities either. They often have a very homogenous population. Okay, they don't have the same melting pot problems we have here. You know, there's a lot of issues, and every country has its own fucking history. You really can't make this stupid fucking comparison, and especially you can't make it in a world where we have deliberately and willfully done everything in our power to fucking break other countries. We broke the Soviet Union. We broke Indonesia. We broke Castro. Okay? They didn't break on their own.
And then tell me, once you point that country out and you explain to me what it is that makes that so much greater than this country and offers you so much a better option at prosperity, then I want you to tell me why you would never consider going there.
Well, whatever. I've lived in Canada. It's not a bad place. I would, of course, consider going there. But you're going to say my reason is invalid. And I'm going to tell you I don't like the fucking climate. I hate fucking winter. All right? You want to live in Canada? You go live in Canada. I don't want to live there. All right? But yeah, it's not a bad place to be. I've spent at least, you know, if you add up all the months I've been there, I mean, I've spent over a year of my life there, and it was a fine place to live.
That's the question. I'm not trying to chase anybody out of my country as if I could. It's ridiculous.
No, you're just playing fucking games, but it does have the same McCarthy-esque flavor to it. Okay, it is it's weasel kind of rhetoric. It is. Like I said, I mean, I wouldn't even resort to it. I mean, why would it even occur to me to ask you a stupid question like, well, what are you going to do when, you know, the progressive tide turns? Why would I give a fuck? Okay, I would assume you would assimilate. That's what everybody has to do. Whatever.
But I don't know. Kids will play their games. But if you're someone that can actually...
And pieces of puke will smell like shit. So I guess that's, you know...
someone of a reasonable thinker that can actually process this question, and you feel this way about the country, if you absolutely
yeah, well, a pukehead like you can't get it right. Like I said, I never expressed my feelings for the country. I expressed my understanding of the economic system and pointed out its complete imbecilities. When did it have something to do with the country?
Despise our social system here, if you absolutely despise our economic system here,
it's not our economic system here. Like I said, we taxed fucking goddamn wealth at fucking 80% in the 1970s. Was that still America, or was that some other fucking place? So what's your fucking point? All right? I mean, you're not making any goddamn sense. Goddamn countries' policies and politics change. Okay? It changes over fucking time. I'm advocating for some fucking change.
And I'm not talking about the people that think there's a few things that need to be fixed. I mean, I don't know anybody in their right mind. Nobody, no sense.
Yo, well, you know, I'm not even going to bother with this part. I'll skip over it. I mean, you know, when we get to the few things. Well, how come my few things don't count as a few things? How come my few things equal communism when they don't? I mean, my few things are, yeah, a limit on inheritance, okay, and a limit on income. What's the big deal? I mean, a really high limit, you know, $500,000 a year limit on income, and maybe $1 million to each beneficiary on inheritance. Now so now that deserves, that policy change is just so fucking extreme and so outrageous that there's no fucking way that you think it's ever going to happen in America. Well, I think it's going to be. It's the future, fucker. I like that. It's the future, fucker. Oh, I mean, pukehead.
We'll start, like last time we went through this whole thing, I became a racist over something that wasn't even related to race. Go figure that one out. And it continues here. And again, I'll get to that one in another video, so I'm not even going to go into it. That's a restatement of the last video that I presented. I obviously should have presented it in a better way.
Well, you just said you don't retract a single word, so what better way? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that for us and do the better way thing? Because this certainly wasn't a better way.
because it wasn't just the hysterical idiots out here, the unreasonable thinkers that seemed to misunderstand it. There were,
you know, I guess there's a lot of other people who think you're a puke head too.
There were actually a couple people that, a couple logical people that I interact with that I don't think got a clear message either. So it's worth it, even just for those couple of people, it's worth it to me to do this. So that's my take on it. That's where I still stand on the question. I don't think the question was knowing that I'm not some right-wing extremist.
Well, look, of course you're a right-wing extremist. My name's in Mendham, or Gary, or, hey, you crazy fucker with that really weird economic theory you have. No, instead it's Marxism, socialism, communism. Okay? We won't let go of the rhetoric. I don't have a website that says I am a member of the Communist Party. I'm not a member of the Communist Party. What is it with you? You won't let go of that shit.
I know. I have reference. I guess, you know, you people don't, and some of you choose not to see that anyway, so nothing I can do about that. So there it is. I have nothing more to add to it than that. Again, the last video is up. You can see I haven't changed a thing. Just added more detail, more granularity to it. So there you have it.
More little bits of puke. That's all you added. You threw in some more puke. Yeah, bravo.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, well, whatever. You're not talking to me. All right, you're talking to your own ideology. You're rationalizing your own bullshit, and that's all you're doing. All right, that's enough of that one. So we'll do his last video, and then I have to go to bed, so I have to work in the morning.